Protecting your heart without pushing him away is one of the hardest balances a wife ever has to learn. And if you are watching this video, it likely means you have loved deeply, tried sincerely, and still found yourself hurt, confused, or emotionally exhausted, wondering how to stay open without breaking, how to care without losing yourself, and how to guard your heart without building walls so high that love cannot reach you anymore. Because no one teaches us how to do this, we are often taught that love means sacrifice, patience, understanding, and compromise, but rarely are we taught how to protect our emotional well-being while still staying connected. And this creates a painful inner conflict where you want closeness, but you are also afraid of getting hurt again. So you pull back, then feel guilty, then lean in again, then feel hurt again. And this emotional cycle can quietly drain the strongest woman. So let me start by telling you this gently and clearly. Protecting your heart does not mean becoming cold, distant, or unloving, and it does not mean punishing your partner with silence or emotional withdrawal. It means learning how to stay emotionally safe while remaining emotionally present. And to understand this, let me tell you a story that may feel very familiar. Imagine a woman named Emily. She is kind, thoughtful, emotionally aware, and deeply committed to her marriage. She listens, she adjusts, she gives chances, she believes in growth. But over time, she notices that her husband does not meet her with the same emotional effort. He forgets important conversations, he minimizes her feelings, he shuts down during conflict, and every time Emily opens her heart, she feels like she walks away a little more wounded. So she starts doing what many women do to survive emotionally. She stops sharing as much, she stops asking for what she needs, she lowers her expectations. She tells herself she is being mature, but inside she feels lonely, disconnected, and unseen. And here is where the misunderstanding happens. Emily believes she is protecting her heart, but what she is really doing is abandoning it. Because real emotional protection does not come from shutting down. It comes from clarity, boundaries, and self-trust. And this is where so many marriages struggle. Because when communication breaks down, women often blame themselves for feeling too much or needing too much. But emotional needs are not flaws, they are signals. And psychology shows us that when a woman consistently suppresses her emotional needs to preserve harmony, her nervous system stays in a constant state of stress. She becomes anxious, irritable, numb, or emotionally detached, not because she is weak, but because she is carrying unspoken pain. And over time, this creates resentment, emotional distance, and a quiet loss of intimacy. So how do you protect your heart without pushing him away? The first step is learning to stop overexposing your emotions without support, and this is very important. Vulnerability is powerful, but only when it is met with respect and safety. If you repeatedly open up and your feelings are dismissed, ignored, or minimized, your heart learns that it is not safe. Protecting your heart means choosing when and how you share. It means grounding yourself emotionally before conversations. It means speaking from a calm place instead of a wounded one. Instead of pouring out everything at once and hoping he understands, you slow down, you say what matters most, and you observe how he responds, because his response tells you more than his promises. The second step is learning to express your needs without chasing validation. Many wives unknowingly attach their emotional safety to their husband's reactions. If he listens, they feel worthy. If he withdraws, they feel rejected. But emotional protection begins when you separate your self-worth from someone else's emotional capacity. You can say, "I need emotional reassurance," without begging for it. You can say, "This hurts me," without proving it. You can speak your truth and still remain steady, even if the response is imperfect, because your stability does not come from being understood immediately. It comes from honoring yourself consistently. The third step is building emotional boundaries that are soft, not harsh. Boundaries are not ultimatums, they are not punishments, and they are not walls. They are guidelines for how you allow yourself to be treated. For example, instead of saying, "I will never talk about my feelings again," you say, "I will not stay in conversations where my feelings are dismissed." Instead of withdrawing silently, you calmly disengage when communication becomes unsafe. This teaches your nervous system that you can protect yourself without disconnecting completely. And this is powerful because it shifts the dynamic from emotional overgiving to emotional self-respect. The fourth step is reconnecting with yourself outside the marriage, because when your entire emotional world revolves around one relationship, every disappointment feels devastating. Protecting your heart means diversifying your sources of emotional fulfillment: friendships, personal goals, creativity, therapy, spirituality, self-reflection. When you nourish your inner world, you stop expecting one person to meet every emotional need. And this does not weaken your marriage, it strengthens it, because you show up as a grounded, whole woman rather than an emotionally depleted one. And here is something very important. Protecting your heart does not mean avoiding difficult conversations. It means having them with intention, timing, and self-awareness. You choose moments when you are regulated, you speak calmly, you listen without losing yourself, and you walk away when respect is lost. And if you fear that setting boundaries will push him away, remember this: someone who is meant to grow with you will not be driven away by your self-respect. They may feel uncomfortable at first, but discomfort is often the beginning of growth. And if someone responds to your boundaries with withdrawing love, affection, or effort, that is not love being lost, that is clarity being gained. Healing also means learning to soothe yourself emotionally instead of waiting for reassurance. Simple practices like placing a hand on your heart, slowing your breath, journaling your feelings, or reminding yourself, "I am safe, I am worthy, I am allowed to feel this," can rewire your emotional responses over time. Because the strongest protection for your heart is self-trust, trusting that you will not abandon yourself again, trusting that you can handle discomfort, trusting that you do not need to shrink to be loved. And as you practice this, something beautiful happens. You become less reactive, more grounded, and emotionally steady. And this energy changes how you show up in your marriage. Conversations become calmer, conflicts become clearer, and you no longer need to over-explain or over-give. And even if your partner struggles to meet you emotionally, you remain connected to yourself, and that is the deepest form of emotional safety. So if you're afraid that protecting your heart will make you distant, let me reassure you. Emotional protection done with awareness creates closeness, not distance, because it removes resentment, exhaustion, and fear from the relationship. It allows love to flow from a place of choice rather than survival. And today, I want you to hear this clearly. You are allowed to protect your heart and still love deeply. You are allowed to need emotional safety and still be kind. You are allowed to set boundaries and still be open. And you do not have to become harder to be stronger. You simply have to become more honest with yourself. And if this message resonated with you, if you felt seen or understood, I invite you to share this video with another wife who may be struggling quietly. Leave a comment and tell me what part touched your heart, and subscribe for more gentle guidance, because you deserve love that feels safe, steady, and nourishing, and it always begins with how you care for your own heart.